This video is for Chemistry in the Earth System, Unit 1.5, Tectonic Plate Interactions. Today's essential question: how has plate tectonics affected evolution, ocean currents, and global climate? Our first main idea: global impacts on Earth's subsystems. The processes associated with plate tectonics have influenced not only the lithosphere, but also most of the other spheres of Earth's systems. The gradual redistribution of the continents over Earth's surface causes long-term global changes in the hydrosphere, the atmosphere, the cryosphere, and the biosphere. Influences on the biosphere become apparent as scientists piece together the details of evolution. Influences on the atmosphere affect weather, climate, and glacial activity. The interaction between land masses and the oceans are reflected in the paths of the global ocean currents. Our next main idea: evolution. Evolution describes how processes such as mutation, natural selection, and genetic drift change a population's gene pool over many generations. As tectonic plates move, continents are separated and populations of organisms become isolated. Geologists suggest that evolution is more pronounced when continents align along a north-south axis rather than an east-west axis. A north-south alignment alters ocean currents, producing more dramatic changes in climatic conditions. It also forces organisms to inhabit more diverse climatic zones. Over time, the organisms evolve into different species, increasing diversity on the planet. The supercontinent Pangaea formed about 600 million years ago, and it had existed for about 400 million years. After it broke up, 180 million years ago, populations of animals and plants across Pangaea became isolated on the fragments of the old continent. The isolated populations began to evolve on their own. One modern example is the flightless birds of the order Paleognathae. These include ostriches of Africa, emus of Australia, as well as other flightless birds. All of these birds descend from the group of birds that ranged widely across Pangaea. Ocean currents. One way in which plate tectonics alters climate is by altering circulation of ocean currents. As continents pull apart and come together, oceans and straits open up and close. These events alter circulation patterns in Earth's hydrosphere and modify the world's climate and climate patterns. During the last supercontinent cycle, Antarctica was connected to South America. When they separated, a powerful ocean current formed around Antarctica. This current isolated the continent from the warming effects of other currents. Antarctica gradually cooled and froze. North America and South America were joined by the creation of the Isthmus of Panama about 5 million years ago. But before that, tropical ocean water flowed directly between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. When ocean circulation patterns changed, a period of glaciation set in. These changes also impact the distribution and evolution of marine organisms. Ocean currents are a key mechanism for distributing heat, fresh water, and nutrients in the global ocean. Climate change. Climate conditions oscillate between two extreme scenarios. An ice house climate describes a cold, dry planet dominated by ice. A greenhouse climate describes a planet dominated by warm, humid conditions. The movement of plates over Earth's surface affects global climate. Plate movement alters the oceanic circulation that distributes heat around the planet. World climates are also affected when plates migrate north and south in new latitude areas. For example, As a continent moves toward a pole, its climate will respond as temperature becomes gradually cooler. An indirect effect of plate movements on climate comes from volcanic eruptions associated with plate movements. If a volcano erupts enough ash and sulfur dioxide into the stratosphere, these particles will reflect the sun's rays and cause Earth to cool. About 1.1 billion years ago, the formation of the supercontinent Rodinia formed a landmass that stretched from the South Pole all the way to the equator. Scientists describe the climate during this event as a snowball Earth, a hypothetical scenario describing the total surface of the planet plunged into freezing conditions and covered by ice. The formation of Rodinia coincides with a series of devastating glacial events. Ice and snow covered Rodinia. Scientists have even suggested that glaciers formed at the equator, and that the equator may have been as cold as present day Antarctica. At this point, you should be able to generate a full and appropriate response to today's essential question: how has plate tectonics affected evolution, ocean currents, and global climate?